Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Unloved podcast. I'm Trinity, aka Miss Herbslot, and in this episode, we are going to be discussing one of the biggest problems that I can think of in regarding the animal trade is hermit crabs. Now, usually, I don't know. So they're really popular at a lot of beach shops and a lot of these pet stores, but diving in deeper to it, it is a lot less ethical than you would think it is. Um, Starting off with, these animals can't be captive bred, really, not unless you really know what you're doing. And these people, like the big corporations for Petco and PetSmart and Pet Supply Plus, they don't really care if they're ethically sourced. Same for all these beach shops that sell them as little trinkets and souvenirs. They really don't care about the treatment of these animals. So what really happens is they are captured from the wild in these big droves. They're taken to these holding facilities, which have no humidity, barely any food, and they're just piled up together in these big wire enclosures. And that's a big problem in itself because hermit crabs breathe through modified gills, and so with that they breathe the humidity in the air rather than the oxygen, and most suffocate to death. So there you already got a bunch dead there. From there, this is really bad, they will crack the shell that the hermit crab is in to try and get them into one of the painted ones. Now, if you've ever been to any these beach shops or to these beach stores or whatever, you'll see these hermit crabs in these painted shells with some sort of pattern on them or some sort of superhero or whatnot. Some design, which probably would get them in trouble for copyright, but whatever. And that paint, although they say it's done with non-toxic paint, it really isn't. If a hermit crab can ingest it, it can be wet still and the hermit crab gets stuck. It's bad. But what they do is they take the crab, they will crack the shell, and then they will stuff them into one of those painted ones. And most hermit crabs will die. A lot of them do die from that kind of stress. Changing shells is one of the most stressful things they can do besides molting. And if you just crack the shell and you force them into something, it's really harmful for the crab. A lot of times, hermit crabs will lose limbs from stress, like legs and all sorts of different things, and it's just really unhealthy for them. The paint on those shells, because hermit crabs do like to chew on the shells too, is ingested. So on top of the risk of the paint still being wet when you put the hermit crab in, if the hermit crab tries to get out and molt, it could rip itself in half from that. I have had it happen with a rescue crab, unfortunately. His name is Coco, and he did that. He was trying to molt and he ended up accidentally killing himself, and I didn't know about it. Another one I had was Arthur, although he made it. I was surprised he made it, but he was in a tiny little yellow shell with a snake on it, and he only had 2 legs. He was missing his back 2 legs, and I was honestly not sure if he was gonna make it, but he managed to get out of that shell and into one of the natural shells after he molted, and he looked amazing. He did well for years after that. But on top of that, if they get so hermit crabs need to get into a water dish. They really need to be able to fully submerge, but a lot of these places is just going to put a damp sponge. But if that shell gets damp, it can leach into the water. So, that's another thing, if them ingesting the paint and it just becoming a toxic hazard and then killing the hermit crab. Um, Other things, they're the beach shops and stuff. They'll put them in wired cages and it with like a heat lamp, and even like these places like Petco and PetSmart, you'll see like an inch of a dusting of coconut fiber, and even that isn't good for them. They have to have deep substrate so they can go down and molt. Otherwise, you deal with like cannibalism with other crabs, or they can just die from stress because that is a very sensitive time period for the hermit crab. Um, it. I have so many things I want to say about this because after years and years of working with hermit crabs, it's like nothing gets better and nothing gets done about it. And then you see like these big professional pet stores that are supposed to, love animals and stuff, but they are selling the improper care for these animals. So it's like, what are you doing? It's something that's I'm really fed up with regarding that, but I've also got, problems with a lot of people in the hermit crab communities themselves. There's one specific Facebook group that acts like snobs are our new members. Like, sure, do your research before you get an animal, or don't purchase hermit crabs at all because we don't support that. But there's people who do end up getting these animals. Like, okay, beach trip, whatever, kids, want a hermit crab. You end up getting one. I mean, like, it's a human thing. It's happened for years. Your kid wants something, and you're like, finally, like, okay, you can get one. They get in the car and they're like, okay, let me do research. Let's see, what's this animal need? What is it? And then the realization that it needs more than what is listed at the beach shop or at that pet store, it's right there in your face, and you're like, oh no. Let me join this Facebook group because it's like one of the number one hermit crab Facebook groups, and let me talk to these people and see what I need to do. The amount of people that bash new owners is insane to me, and it makes people not want to ask questions. It makes people want to just stay quiet and not try to do the best for their animals. I've seen it in the reptile community. I see it in the dog community, cat community. Any kind of community, you're going to run into those people, and it really needs to stop. Like any kind of animal work where you're working with any of these types of animals, you need to combine yourself and stick together. The more you try to tear each other apart, the less likely that animal is going to get the help and the care it needs. I am a big advocate with making sure everybody feels safe, respected, especially in those kind of situations, because I have been there. I have done that. I know what that is like, and I don't understand the whole attacking everybody for it. So that's why I strive to do what I do. But circling back, these animals, hermit crabs, really any kind of like wild caught animal, they deserve a lot better because it is on us that they are even here, and they shouldn't be. But go tell the big corporations that, because everybody's out to make $1 on these poor little animals, and it's not fair to them. But to the ones that we have in our care, we should be taking care of those animals. We should be providing the best kind of care we can for them to our capability. So in those kind of situations, when somebody has like a hermit crab, it's important to do a lot of research. There's a couple YouTube channels that have helped me a lot. I think it's called Crab Street Journal. Yeah, their care is flawless, and they actually are working on like their own breeding project along with Mary Akers, I think. And they have been making amazing work and amazing progress in the hermit crab field. So it is possible to adopt. I think Josh's Frogs buys some Mary Akers, and they work together to distribute captive bred hermit crabs to people, which is amazing. That right there in itself is amazing, because it takes time and effort to do that. A lot of time and effort, because there's so much that goes to hatching out hermit crab eggs. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Fish eggs are bad, but nowhere near as bad as that. Because there's so many different water changes and temperature changes you have to do to get those to survive and to the stage where they are coming up onto land and picking shells. That there's a ton of work, and I am so thankful for that, because the more we get of that, the less we get with these wild caught ones, which is amazing. It really is. I even want to do my own project, but it's gonna be a while. I need a bigger setup and a bigger space for that, but we'll get there one of these days, I think, maybe. I also want to work on like a bunch of different stuff, but definitely hermit crabs. People think that these a lot of people think these hermit crabs are like toys and stuff, and honestly, they're not. They're such lovely creatures. I have had so many over the years. I have just 2 now. But I have had so many amazing hermit crabs. They're amazing pets to keep. Like, they're not as, handleable as some. I'd probably rate them around the same as a tarantula. Like, I don't typically handle mine, but, like, if I ever have to, I'm very gentle and very cautious with it, because hermit crabs are very delicate creatures. I have, my female Bonnie will actually, like, sit out on my arm. She doesn't mind being handled, but Clyde does not like being picked up. So I try to, pick them up sparingly. It's the same with my spider, and you gotta be careful because, they need humidity to breathe, so it's not the best idea to have them out 24/7, unless it's like a super humid day. Like, if you live in a very humid area, I would say you could take them out. Just make sure it's not, like, stressing the hermit crab out. But, yeah, no. I just want to kind of bring that to light, because a lot of people don't understand it, or don't realize that hermit crabs are a lot more than what they think they are. And that is definitely something that has to be addressed, It's something that I am very passionate about. Same with snakes or bully breed advocacy. I'm really big on those topics, so that's something you're going to see a lot on this podcast. But I do want to morph into the shelter animal of the day. So my feature for this week is going to be Red. Red is currently at a foster home, but she is available for adoption at the Marion County Animal Shelter in South Carolina. She is personally one of my favorite dogs there. She's really well behaved, loves kids, loves other dogs. The only thing she is not good with is cats. And yeah, I have a lot of cats, so that's the only reason I didn't get her. But I know that a lot of people don't have cats and they're more of a dog person. So if we could try to find her a home where she can, live her best life, that would be amazing, because this dog really does deserve it. She is one of the sweetest dogs that they have at that shelter, and I actually worked with her at a Petco event. We float up the dogs and we take them to the adoption event, and it's right outside of Petco. We have had a couple adoptions, happen, and it's been really great. We have moved animals. It's just she needs a very special home, just something with no kids. She's an angel anywhere else. I'll put the photos in the video segment of this or whatever. She is a cuddle bug and just the sweetest dog ever. She just doesn't like cats, and a lot of people don't like that, or people will get her, and after we tell them she's not good with cats, and try to force her to get along with cats, which big no no. You don't ever want to do that. So she's been returned twice because she does not like cats, like we said, and she's getting older. She's, I think, 4 or 5 now. But she does deserve a really good home. So if you could help me network it, talk to friends and family members who don't have cats, and say, hey, there's this dog in South Carolina. Let's go get her. I've got the information in the little video portal, whatever. I don't know what they're called for podcasts. It's just there in the video. There's the contact info. They're usually pretty responsive on Facebook. So if you have like any interest, you can always message on there. And if you like have any more questions, I'll leave my email linked too, so you can send me some questions and I'll get them to you. It's just nice to think that, you can promote an animal, who needs a home. And a lot of the times, social media will come together and help you out with that. So I'm hoping that the more I build up the podcast, the more we can find these animals homes. Especially Red. Red is probably my personal favorite at that shelter. One of my personal favorites. I have a couple. But yeah, she deserves it. As for the news segment this week, I don't have a whole lot. I've been seeing some stuff going around, but I can't tell if it's like fake AI stories or anything. But I do know one story that happened, and that was Dexter's Law got passed, which is amazing. Florida is doing really good with their animal abuse laws. So what Dexter's Law does, it doesn't allow people who have been convicted for abusing animals to have any more animals, which common sense would have had that in place years ago. I do mean years ago, because animals can't defend themselves like we can. We can, get away from our abuse. We're smart enough to, move and get away from them. But an animal's caught. Like, these animals have no free will. They are caught up with this abuser. And, the animals get taken away the first time and nothing happens. But now it does. And if Dexter's Law gets passed, in a bunch of other states, that would be beautiful. I'm in South Carolina, and we currently have so much animal abuse, animal neglect. It is honestly disheartening to see it, because the more you look at it, like the surrounding area, I'm seeing dog fighting. I'm seeing like a bunch of dog fighters getting busted. I think there was 2 dog fighting rings busted in 2025. They might have been more than that, but it was 2 big ones. I know there was 50 plus dogs seized on one. There's dumped and abandoned dogs. Locally, they just found a bunch of beagles dumped out, a bunch of puppies too. So I mean, like, it's sickening, and it breaks my heart to see like the animal crisis we're in right now, because people just keep on abusing these animals and wanting to dump them out, and it's just, how can you be like that? How can you be like that to a innocent animal? It is crazy to me. And that's like one of the biggest reasons I am trying so hard to get this animal rescue open. Like, as soon as I get enough funds to get this thing open, I'm wanting to buy a piece of property. I want to get the stuff built. I want to move animals, because the shelter is at max capacity. The rescues are all full. Everything is full. Nobody can do anything, and people are getting mad because, like, oh, well, you can't take my dog I've had for 12 plus years. Well, you've had the dog for 12 plus years. We are currently full because people keep dumping animals. Like, why are you even trying to surrender this dog? Yeah, like, you can take a look, you can take a step back. Take a step back and look at what's going on. It is insane. It is a mess right now, and everybody that works in the animal rescue or animal shelter field, they're all tired. Veterinarians are tired. The amount of veterinarians that are booked out right now is crazy. When Medusa first developed lymphoma, the vet was like out for 2 weeks. So Medusa ended up passing, but that vet was booked out 2 weeks, and all the surrounding vets are booked out 2 weeks. So I mean, it's a crazy time right now, because like the systems are so full, and nobody seems to care, or at least these people who are demanding that these animals just are taken off their hands. It's like, we're trying. I have no clue why you're getting rid of your dog of 12 plus years, but we are trying to get that dog in. We just have to deal with the 112 dogs on property right now at the local shelter, something like that. it's mind-boggling to me, and it's just gonna keep getting worse. Just every day, it's gonna keep getting worse if we don't do something. That's why I think Dexter's Law should, or something like that, should be passed here, because a lot of these animal abusers are just getting and letting these animals loose, and it's crazy to me, and it's something that really needs to be stopped. But if you do want to help with the animal crisis right now, I gave you the shelter's info. You can go straight to them. I'm leaving my rescue info right here. And if you feel like you can help me or help the shelter or anything, I would be so grateful. I am trying my hardest with this. I have to get my 501c registry, which is going to be like around $400, which is fine. I don't mind, but I've got to save a little bit there, and then from there, I have to get the actual property, and then it's going to be building like all the pins, although that's not going to be too pricey. The actual building the pins part, the property might be, but it is going to be worth it to help the shelter, because I intend to like try and pull as many dogs as I can. I don't know what my space limit is going to be like, but I'm gonna try to pull at least 8+ dogs. That is my goal, is to have like a facility big enough to fit 8+ dogs, and a lot of cats do. Cats don't take up much space as dogs do, but I'm gonna try to get everything sorted out. But if you want to help, my info's right there. You don't have to. You could even just share this, and it would help me a lot. Or just follow me along. Just whatever. I'm just trying to build up something, and I can't do that by myself. I need a little bit of help with it. So if you could just share it or help in any kind of way, I would be extremely grateful. But that's going to conclude this episode of the Unloved podcast. I appreciate you being here and for helping me shed some light on some situations, especially regarding hermit crabs and all the other topics we're going over. Next week, I think I'm going to go over the stigma around snakes, because, a lot of people don't like them. I get it, there's a lot there, but we're going to debunk a lot of that. I hope you found this informative regarding hermit crabs. I hope it's kind of opened your eyes to the situation, and if you ever need any info on hermit crabs or anything, there are resources. I'm actually going to probably make a guide or something on my YouTube channel. I have a old hermit crab video, but I might update it once I get some more supplies, because I am going to redo my hermit crab enclosure, so I might take you along with me on that. But thank you, and if you can, please drop a like and a follow. It would help us a lot. Thank you for listening to the Unloved podcast. I'll see you next week.